Hey everyone, I am back. It has been years. Usually I'm always making videos that are X-Men related, whether it's my X-Men fan films or whether I'm making videos and topics and discussions that purely focus on the X-Men. The last video I made was when Dark Phoenix had just dropped, and I was actually excited for that movie because I thought there was going to be negotiations between Disney and Fox, and they were going to do something similar to the Sony deal. And I was getting so excited, and then they were like, no, we're just going to sell all of Fox to Disney. And then Kevin Feige's like, we won't see any X-Men for 5 years. So I kind of got unmotivated from that, but I love talking about the X-Men. I love talking about theories. I've been that crazy dude since 2014. I remember watching X-Men Days of Future Past in the theater, and I said, you know what? I said, the X-Men are one day going to be integrated into the MCU. Just don't know how. People calling me crazy, and here we are. So I didn't expect any new X-Men related stuff at least for another year. And then all of a sudden, the Doctor Strange trailer drops last night, and I hear Professor Xavier, Patrick Stewart, and I freak out.
We should tell him the truth.
So now I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta get my lights, my mic. I gotta get everything ready because now it's go time. Now it's time to get back into my mini X-Men discussions I will have. I will, of course, talk about other MCU related topics, but it's X-Men that gets me going. I know people love Avengers, but I've always been the one that's like, I love X-Men just 10 times more than Avengers. It starts with Storm and it starts with Magneto. And from Storm and Magneto, it branches off to X-Men, and X-Men branches off to the wider Marvel lore. And that gets me going. Okay, so this is not a trailer breakdown. There's other channels that just talks about it from start to finish. I am only going to focus on the X-Men related details from the Doctor Strange trailer. So first, we get Professor Xavier. And I remember when I was watching this trailer, which I should have done a reaction for, but of course I didn't expect this to happen. And it didn't click to me that that was Professor Xavier until the trailer stopped. Immediately, I was like, did I hear Patrick Stewart's voice? And then I freaked out. I could not believe it. And then, of course, I just watched that one scene with Professor Xavier over and over and over again because that is my favorite part of the trailer. I actually teared up, and no other movie trailer has ever made me tear up other than Days of Future Past, its first trailer. So the fact that Professor Xavier sitting there, obviously it's a variant. If you're not too sure what a variant is, you need to watch the Loki series because it goes in great detail. So I don't think that this is the Professor Xavier from the Logan movie, because that was one thing that Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman put their foot down on, was that they didn't want to revisit those characters because they had a big, their deaths. And that would make a lot of sense. But when I interviewed Hugh Jackman some years ago for the Logan movie, he told me off camera, the only way I'm coming back is if it's MCU related. And now that we see Xavier in there, we know Hugh Jackman is going to be in there. I mean, there was already theories anyway that it was just going to be those two, Xavier and Wolverine. But I'm kind of suspecting that there may be more, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But that also branches off into the Illuminati. I did not expect the Illuminati to show up so soon because we haven't seen Namor yet, who's supposed to be in Black Panther 2. We haven't seen Mr. Fantastic yet. I love that Black Panther was in the Illuminati. I don't know how they're going to do that. I don't know if Black Panther is just going to be quiet. I don't know if Shuri's going to be there, or they just may not have him at all. But I am holding out hopes for that. When the Illuminati shows up, they're not the happiest bunch, but they only show up when there's like a level 10 threat. Like, we got to bring out all the stops. So it's very interesting to see how they're also going to talk about the X-Men Fox continuity, because this will be a perfect time to say, hey, you screwed up our Fox timeline so much. It's probably because of Doctor Strange. They may do that, but it'd be very interesting if they do. The second biggest X-Men related thing that came out of that trailer was the dinosaurs. So I know, people who don't know too much about the X-Men lore with dinosaurs, whenever you see dinosaurs, it's Savage Land related. Savage Land is basically Marvel's Jurassic Park. So if Marvel ever wanted to do a Jurassic Park type movie, Savage Land is the way to go. Now that we have creatures and aliens, I mean, the X-Men reacting to dinosaurs shouldn't be that much of a stretch. Spider-Man has been a part of the Savage Land a time or two. But even if they establish that is a Savage Land for even 30 seconds on screen, I am going to flip out, because that also will bring us to Mr. Sinister, which they have not done yet in the entire Marvel universe. So, that's also what I'm looking forward to. Now I could have started vlogging, however you want to say it, about WandaVision, because Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver I have always considered to be Team X-Men over Team Avengers. Because of the movies, more people do associate those two with more of Avengers, but I always associated them as X-Men. They're in every X-Men cartoon, and I always saw them as kind of like anti-heroes. So it makes sense that Scarlet Witch would be a villain, partly in this movie. But I didn't want to focus on Scarlet Witch too much, because she's never came out and said that she's a mutant. There hasn't been anything established to say that Magneto is my father. We're mutants, genetically. Until that happens, I didn't want to start making videos yet, because that's not set in stone. But I know that after this movie, Scarlet Witch is officially going to cross over into the Team X-Men side. Then we're going to get on like Quicksilver. I think that was a big missed opportunity in WandaVision. Now the Aaron who plays Quicksilver is supposed to be, or it's rumored that he's going to be, forget his name in Spider-Man, Kraven the Hunter. So I don't know how that's going to work, because we're going to instantly recognize him as being Quicksilver and Kraven. So now we're going to get to why I think there's going to be more than just Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman coming back. If you notice, in the past 2 years, even this year, there has been several cast members from the X-Men saying, oh, if they gave me a call, I'll come back. And usually that's what certain actors will do, just to put it out there that, hey, if you guys are going to do something related to X-Men or whatever, give me a call. The last person to do this was Halle Berry.
Absolutely return to it. It's a beloved character. I loved playing Storm, and people love Storm.
Halle Berry did her interview when she said, hey, I will come back as Storm. That was one thing I even asked Hugh Jackman. I said, hey, if you could bring one of the X-Men back with you, if you came back, who would it be? And he said Storm. So that would make sense. Anna Paquin, who plays Rogue, has expressed interest. James Marsden, who plays Cyclops, has expressed interest. And this is why I think that there is going to be a shot that is going to have the X-Men trying to save all this destruction of what's going on right now. Kevin Feige started X-Men back in 2000, and I think a part of him would want that dream to come true, to say, hey, I started with you as a cast, why don't I try to bring you guys back? I also believe that Iceman also said that he would like to come back. So it's very interesting that they're all saying this relatively around the same time. And I think that Xavier is just on the tipping scale. Also, with Doctor Strange doing all these reshoots, they already said there was nothing wrong with the movie, but they're adding more to it. And that's what I'm like, okay. Now, and then the Defenders, the Netflix shows are all leaving Netflix by March, and they're also expressing interest of coming back. We already see Matt Murdock came back in Spider-Man 3. I guarantee they will probably also have a cameo scene fighting as a team. Overall, I'm very excited. And lastly, I'm going to end this by what's coming to this channel this year. So I haven't put out any original content in a while. So we do have 3 seasons of the X-Men web series coming. It may be even more than that. It should start premiering next month. These are for the old school subscribers who just want anything related to that web series. It will be in short story format, so it'll just basically be Uatu explaining what's going on with the X-Men and Apocalypse. About 3-minute episodes of him just narrating, as we can't really put out the episodes the way they truly were intended because of all the post-production issues that they were. Anyway, so subscribe, hit that bell, the notifications. We have a lot coming this year, and I will keep you guys updated on every and all X-Men news, especially when it comes to the movies. I will be your #1 source guide, and yeah, I'll see you guys soon.